Well, Coach, just wanted to start with getting your overarching thoughts. I mean, a very memorable weekend in which you guys battled back, down two in the third to tie OSU on Friday, and then find a way with a big third period in particular on Saturday.
Yeah, pretty gutsy effort, by our group. Both games, right? Mm-hmm. We take, we weren't leading going in the second, down to going in the third. A lot of teams, would, try to battle back, and which every team would. But if you don't finish it off, then it's kind of disappointing. But our guys did such a good job, right? Like on Friday, being down 2-0, we jumped on them, early on in that third period, and had some really good chances probably to take the lead on them. And then, but we were able to build some momentum off that going into Saturday. Came out, was a really good game. There's the ebbs and flows, the highs and lows of the game on Saturday. But, again, to see our group, the willingness to compete, the willingness to battle to the end. One of my favorite photos, I don't know if it's out circulate or not, was when they were in 6-on-5. We had three guys down on one knee in the front, all blocking pucks. And there was almost all of them had the right knee down, off it. And 21 seconds left, 5-3. And you hear me say it all the time, like what a courageous effort. Most people be like, okay, we're up by 20 seconds left. Kind of get in the way, but not get in the way. And we not only had 1, 2, but 3 guys setting up a wall in front of Morsey, to eat that puck. So, real credit to the group. Real happy for them. But like anything, now we gotta turn. We gotta move on, and we gotta get ready for a really good opponent.
And you had a great culture established really from the start of the year, but does that take that extra buy-in for 3 guys to do that, take a knee in a spot where you need to block pucks and try and hold off?
Yeah, you call those team builders nowadays, right? Kind of.
Yeah.
It's a team builder. What do we have, 5 guys in the penalty box? That's a team builder.
Yeah.
I saw a photo of that. Couldn't fit many
awesome.
More in there. I was probably involved in a couple of those, sitting on guys all cramming into that little box over there, right? But no, I was, those are parts of the game, when you see guys come together, right? And in that case, of blocking puck, sacrificing their body, for the betterment of the program. Right, that's awesome, right? When the rest put everybody in the box, there was no hesitation by our group to help Jeremy Minville after that, right? Like, that's a team. You don't have time to think. You're in helping your buddy. You know what I mean? And you're doing whatever it is to take care of him. And my philosophy is 5 in, 5 out. We don't leave a player behind in there. And scrums like that, all 5 go in. All 5 come out together, and that just shows you that pack mindset, mentality that we're in it together, and if it's gonna, if someone wants to mess around with 1, you got 5, it's and a few years ago I remember that was real talk about with the Penguins when they went on their runs with Malkin and Crosby. They had a 5-man mindset, 5 in, 5 out, and that doesn't mean you're going in there to disrupt and do anything, but it just means that I'm not leaving you in there. If you're still in there getting kind of face washed and pushed around, hey, your buddies are coming to make sure you're coming back to the bench with them, So I love that mindset. I think that's what builds and breeds team culture and a winning culture.
What type of focus does it take from your guys? I'm sure the pause, one of the more key points was after that, what was ruled a major penalty on Minville. It was like a 10, 15-minute stoppage. It was a very, very lengthy time. Yeah. So what does it take in that moment to maintain focus in a spot like that, especially when you have a big swinging call? Are they going to call it a major or not?
Yeah, it's got to be corrected that long. That can't happen in the game. There's talks always about how we speed up the game, I was told, in terms of face-offs and getting players out quicker. But we can't have a 12, 15-minute review. That's just unacceptable to me. Like, it's all the way around. Like, it's either 5 or 2. And if everyone on the ice needs a 2, then put everybody in the box. Don't let anyone go to the bench. Send all 10 over. Hold the linesman almost like, you're kind of herding cattle, right? Just don't let them go to the bench, everybody in those boxes, and then figure out from there. But, it was tough, right? And it was tough for both teams. They're trying to get on the power play probably and get, a little bit of momentum going and rolling off it, right? And it took a little bit out of the crowd off it, but real good kill. They scored the one goal, like we said, on it, so I was real happy with our guys. You don't want to let up goals, but, you got to tip your hat to a good team like that. And, after that, though, I thought we settled in and, kind of got the momentum back of the crowd in with our physicality and some scoring opportunities. And like I said, it was a game of highs and lows. That's a good club. They're good, and it was just capped off a great weekend and a great night. And like I said all along, you heard me say we coach for those moments, for that win song in the locker room, and and seeing the fans and everyone going out and talking about it after, and seeing them, the next day, and the text messages about, the win for the guys and how much it meant for people, that come here and cheer on BG hockey. It was great. So now, bottle that up, hit the reset button this week, enjoy that till Monday, and then we have to, like I said, we had to get ready this week to head on the road to Ferris.
Yeah, I know we talked about it a little bit earlier too, but Ferris brings some unique challenges in that you've already played them. You had the wild 9-5 game to start off that whole series, and it was tighter on Saturday. But what did you see from that series? Is there much you can take from that going into this Ferris series?
Quite a bit of games from them for both teams, right? Both teams have probably changed a little bit of their identity in the way they're playing. As we say all along, we're going to have to tweak a few things to how they're playing, but we really need to focus on us right now, and that's always been our MO, is worrying about what we do. We want to play to a high level and a high standard so that we hope our opponent has to change their game. But there's things in our game tendencies we got to be smart with, and we have to understand the difference, to me too, between a home game and a road game. It's a little different, right, throughout it, and but it'll be good. It's a big task. Like I said, we talked already yesterday how we went up last year and we split with them, and we know how difficult it is, and they're coming off 2 road games themselves right now, and we want to get on them quick and early and often and try to keep the pedal down.
And then, Coach, just talking about like Bowling Green being a hockey town, having a great just fan base support system. How was that in display on Saturday night?
It was great. It's one thing that drew me here. And back in the mid '90s or late '90s when I came, right, it was when you went on your visits and options. Like, first of all, was the coaching staff. With Buddy, Wayne, and Brian Hills, but when I came in and got to see the community, see the town, the campus, it's what drew me back again, and I've been one of the fortunate ones to play here, coach here as a grad assistant, coach here as an assistant, coach here as an interim, and come back again. So, it's Bowling Green does that, I think. Draws you back in. It's a special place with great people and great community support.
And then Tyler Hodson, just an outstanding Saturday night weekend for him. Just how are you impressed by his performance?
Hottie. Hey. Yeah, scored a couple nice goals there. Played hard, played fast. Obviously we got him in from this year. He transferred in. I've known Tyler for some time. He's from my hometown of Stratford. We're from the same place. I got to watch him evolve from, and not watch him, but hear everything back home and from his time in Stratford into the USHL. And, he was brought in to help with our offense. He put up good numbers the last 2 years when he was at RPI, and it was great to see him have a little bit of a breakout, obviously, weekend. And it's always nice when you start 2026 that way for him, a new year. And as I said, everyone, the first half's done. Now we got to focus on the second. And whatever you did in the first half, it doesn't come with you. Your goals don't come, your assists don't come, your penalty minutes, it's all clean slate, and what we want to be able to see our guys do is have their games mature and evolve and develop better than what they were in the first half. If we can see growth in their game, like we saw in Tyler, then that means we're getting a better player each and every night. So real happy with him.
And then just overall as well, like kind of looking at the team and really just how they went along with it, like going from a comeback, just how do you really coach that and just kind of like get the players to go out there and do it?
Well, you got to challenge them, and it's a standard we say all the time. We never play to a score. We play to an expectation and a standard. So whether it's 5-0 them, 5-0 us, 3-2, 2-1, we have to clean up certain areas of the game. And with that, they were challenged. Great leadership in that locker room pulls that along as well, because the most important meeting is the meeting after the meeting. So when a coach comes and addresses the team, That's one thing. Everybody can put on a false front, and nod their head and be involved. Oh, I got you, coach. And then when you walk out, a lot of teams too that don't have a winning culture will start talking, calling out what the coach is saying or maybe not agreeing with it. So I always say the meeting after the meeting is so important. And we have such great leaders. We have such great upperclassmen and have brought along the younger guys and have really enforced our culture and standard. So I know when I leave a meeting that I feel really good, that I got great support in there from the seniors in the leadership group and the juniors, and that are going to continue to pull everybody through. So real credit to those guys.
And then just the grit and just blocking shots. Would that be what you were most impressed with the guys this weekend, or if not, was something else?
Yeah, love it. Hey, you win hockey games that way. You win hockey games scoring goals. Let's be honest. You got to keep them out of your net. But at the end of the day, it was just it's gutsy effort, and that's what probably draws in that energy that was in the building. It raises everybody, right, to play outside of their comfort level to an optimal level, and that's what you saw. Not saying they wouldn't do that in another game, but when you have, the excitement and the environment in there, and you elevate your game. You're playing on a different level because you're playing not only for your teammates but from everybody there. And yeah, it was great effort by everybody.
You talked about Ty Higgins after the Friday night game at Ohio State, got his first game in there. With two assists on Saturday, what did you see the difference? Obviously, probably full of juice going into that Friday game, not playing the first half of the season.
Yeah, Ty, it's like you just said, Ty hasn't played probably 6-7 months. It's hard, and so you have your exhibition game where we had 10D dress, so you kind of got a little bit of a. It's probably in the shallow end, knee high, going out, and got to play against a younger team, but a different opponent. And then to get thrown into that game and going down there for your first game and the rivalry between two former CCHA schools, right? It's not easy. And they got some players that can obviously skate and compete and hit and come at you. And but what I did like was, his game got better period by period, and like we were saying, the goal he set up with Brett Foe, that's not scripted or structured by us. That's a hockey player making a hockey play and a read off it. So, real credit to him to, be able to get up, have his poise, hold that blue line, find Brett Foe with a really nice pass to the high tip there. It doesn't get much better. So I think we're just seeing a little tip of the iceberg on him. He's going to get better each weekend.
Any questions for those that are on the call?
Absolutely. Hi, Coach. How you doing?
Oh, hold on one second. There we go.
Okay. Coach, how you doing?
Hi, Peter. Good. How are you doing?
Good. So you brought in a bunch of players at the beginning of the year, and during the first half of the year, I called that the proving themselves. They want to make sure they live up to their resume, and they want to come together as a team. And I think this past weekend is the culmination of that whole proving themselves, developing their identity. Now, how do you take the next step? This weekend against Ferris, the following weekend, you're playing two teams that are, I'd like to say, they're definitely below you in the standings. I mean, they are their records. There's no doubt about it. How do you get your guys going from that proving themselves stage to becoming a predator in the CCHA?
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of what we preach all year, that it's a faceless opponent we really talk about. It's that, we're our own opponent, and what we bring out and what we want to control. And, we're not a standing watching team. We're not, we're a pretty humble group when it comes to that, and I think if you saw what has happened throughout the year, we've had some games that we should have, I thought, been in control of at times, and we didn't get those wins. So that's where we're going to see if our maturity has fallen over into the second half. Because as we always say in our locker room, we win or we learn. So now we have to learn from our first half mistakes or areas of fault. And like I say, those trials aren't there to punish us. The trials are there to really enlighten us. And now we got to make sure they don't happen again. So it's been really a good week of talking, of understanding. We're going to have to rely on, ratcheting up to the intensity in practice at the right time. That you got to keep them in a real happy pocket of loose and feeling good, but also to the point where we got work to do. We got to stay tight with our details and our compete and our effort. And so really our staff has done a really good job. As I said, our leadership has done a really good job. And so far we've liked our 2 practices, Monday, Tuesday. And obviously tomorrow we got to ratchet up a little bit more, and get into our Thursday skate and be ready to drop the puck on Friday.
Great, thank you. And I'd ask you you're starting, but you're not going to say anyway.
No.
So.
I'm starting 6 guys on the ice.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'll be watching. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thanks, Peter.
Any more questions? All right, thanks everyone.
All right.
Appreciate you joining us.
Shout out. Am I still on, Mike? Yeah. All right, keep this rolling. Shout out to Michael putting together an unbelievable video this weekend. Our guys appreciate it, Michael. Our staff appreciates it. I know our fans do. It's a lot of work and a lot of time. And I think a lot of those things go unnoticed or not really exemplified, all the hard work that goes in behind the scenes and down in Columbus, Mike, and back up here and working all day yesterday. So thank you for what you do, pal.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Keep that in there for me, all right?